Hello, you level cups. I just wanted to quickly say spoiler warning, of course, for anybody who has not seen the Demon Slayer anime. There's a lot of spoilers in here, so yeah. Also, huge thank you to Claire Sean who voiced this video, and also the comments that I took for the abilities are from Giyu Tomioka, the flame ability. I called it Koto Amasu, but if you want to name it, then you can name it. And the other ability that I chose was for the Rinnegan, and it was from Octavio Giovanna. I don't know if I said that right, but the ability is to bend the earth materials and the wood, stone, metal, etc. So basically everything besides like plants and life. Well, wood is special case, but yeah. And the ability, I've just called it Bend. If you want to name it anything else, put it in the comments down below. By the way, Koto Masu has no special meaning. I don't know what it means, I just came up with the word, so there you go. I think I got it from some anime, but enjoy the video.
Hello, you lovely cups. It's Claire-chan, and today I will be standing in for Dragon. Like the title says, we will be doing What If Tanjiro Had the Rinnesharingan Part 2. Now, before I start, I would like to tell you guys to join the Discord server where you can share your what if ideas and even maybe recommend some anime. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Last time, Tanjiro goes down the mountain to sell some charcoal. After some hours go by, Tanjiro decides to head back up the mountain but smells blood at the bottom of the mountain. He decides to go at full speed up the mountain. Halfway up the mountain, he smells the blood of his sister and asks Kurama for his help, as Tanjiro blitzes to his house. He arrives to see his sister in a bloody state, with a man pouring his blood over her. As he gets enraged by this, the man disappears. After that, Tanjiro passes out from using so much Kurama chakra in a short time. He wakes up to his mother patting his forehead, who tells him that his younger brother sadly passed away in the entire endeavor. This makes Tanjiro sad as his mom, Kia, points out that Nezuko is in a bad shape. Tanjiro heals her, but she wouldn't wake up. As he decides to rush down the mountain with her, this is when Nezuko suddenly attacks Tanjiro, making them fall down the mountain. Upon struggling against his sister, a man would come trying to slash her. Tanjiro protects her, and this is when Nezuko realizes that it's Tanjiro. Nezuko gets swept away by Giyu, who tells Tanjiro to fight. Tanjiro would do his diversion, but still get knocked out. This is when Nezuko protects Tanjiro, surprising Giyu. Giyu tells Tanjiro to go to a mountain where he will meet Urokodaki, as Tanjiro does eventually, finding Urokodaki. They begin Tanjiro's training after a little test Urokodaki created. That's it for last time. Difficult and difficult. He would also swing his sword around 2,000 to 5,000 times and even more later on. Nezuko would also start training in the sense of regaining physical strength. Keep in mind she is not possessed by Musan's curse and she can just roam around with no problem. She can even just eat human food to replenish her energy anyway. Urokodaki shows Tanjiro all of the forms and how to assess the water breathing, as Tanjiro copies them perfectly from the first try. He trains on them for 4 months, until Urokodaki tells him that he has nothing more to teach Tanjiro. This is when Urokodaki shows Tanjiro the boulder, but it's actually twice the size than it is in the anime, making Tanjiro believe that it's impossible. Nezuko would not get a challenge and just sit with Urokodaki and slowly learn her blood demon art. 4 months would have passed when all of this would have gone down. Now Tanjiro would take another month where he would go over all of the things Urokodaki taught him. But he just wouldn't be able to cut the rock. This is when he meets a boy named Sabito, who starts fighting Tanjiro. Sabito underestimates Tanjiro's raw power but still beats Tanjiro with his overwhelming skill. He knocks out Tanjiro, and a few hours go by. This is when a girl named Makomo, who teaches him all his wrongdoings and how to actually use total concentration breathing. After a month, Tanjiro would have perfected this, but somehow he would still not be able to beat Sabito. This is when Sabito tells Tanjiro that he must get stronger, but they can't teach him anything else. Tanjiro decides to master his Himokami Kagura, which he does in about 3 months. In this time, he would also master his KCM 1, 2, and 3. One day he will be mediating, as a weird firebird would come up to Tanjiro and speak with him. Tanjiro, being confused by this, talks with the bird, who then offers Tanjiro power. He asks the bird some questions, mainly what it means by power, and the bird answers with "I'll teach you sage mode." This interests him, and he accepts. The bird teaches Tanjiro for 1 year and 2 months. This training would consist of trying to unlock Tanjiro's hidden potential. After the year and 2 months pass, Tanjiro basically just unlocks all the sage modes, including his own custom one, which I'm calling the Phoenix Sage mode. Since he is a child of fire, this Sage mode allows him to fly at high speeds to the point where he nearly flies faster than light. It also allows him to heal himself with white flames. It also increases his smell and sensory abilities. There are more abilities, but listing them all would be too much. In this time, however, he learns a lot about the wood. He basically masters everything, chakra related, and even can infuse his sword with wind or any of the other natures. But the main abilities that he really unlocks in this time is his Rinnegan and Sharingan abilities. He finds out that he can summon a massive crimson red humanoid figure with a katana that he can control. It also gives him defense and all of that. We know that this is the Susanoo, and I'm not gonna go over it more. He also figures out the Amaterasu, and he can make the black flame, but also retract it. He figures out that his Rinnegan allows him to basically control nature. I mean, like all of nature. Besides, like animals and humans, but he can terraform materials like wood and stone. He also finds out that his custom Sharingan ability lets him heal people with these blue flames. Also, Tanjiro figures out some weird stuff. For example, he can use the King of Hell to absorb a demon, and it's a small chance, but the people the demon could come back to life. Just gets told this by the Phoenix that taught him Sage mode. Anyway, he challenges Sabito and beats him easy, and this reveals that he actually cut the rock and all that. He shows Urokodaki, who tells Tanjiro that it should have been impossible to cut and that he didn't want to see any more children die. This is when he tells Tanjiro that he is proud of him and lets Tanjiro enter the final selection. Before I continue, I would like to say that the fire ability will be named Kotoamasu, and the nature controlling power will be called Band. If the people that recommend it the power want to name them, then leave your name suggestions down in the comment section. That night I would feast, and Urokodaki would make some delicious hot pot for Tanjiro. After the hot pot, Urokodaki explains some stuff to Tanjiro and gives him the mask. Tanjiro would also have cut his hair in this time. This morning, Tanjiro prepares to go to the final selection as he puts on a kimono similar to Urokodaki's. Also puts on the mask Urokodaki gave him. As he leaves, he tells his goodbyes to Nezuko and Urokodaki, and he also tells Urokodaki to say hi to Sabito and Makomo. This is when Urokodaki says to himself, Tanjiro, how do you know the names of the dead? Tanjiro would arrive at the final selection and would notice all the people as the two administrators of this trial tell them that beyond this point there will be demons and you will have to survive for 7 days. They tell the participants to get ready as Tanjiro activates KCM1 and his Sage mode. Yeah, he has Kurama, who is constantly gathering Sage energy and chakra, so he never really runs out. He blitzes past everyone, and in the first day, he would have killed over 100 demons and would have taken some time to rest since it would take a while for demons would still be in KCM1 and Sage mode, but would just chill by some trees. He wouldn't really ask the demons any questions since Nezuko is like the kind of cured. On the 5th day, after slaying about 300 demons in total, Tanjiro would just be walking around when he would then see a monstrosity of a demon that is about to kill a yellow-haired boy. As Tanjiro steps in and saves the boy would say thank you and Tanjiro would tell him to run. Upon seeing Tanjiro's mask, the demon would say you must be one of Urokodaki's kids. Tanjiro would get stunned for a second as the demon would monologue that he has killed countless of Urokodaki's students. As Tanjiro then figures out that Sabito and Makomo are actually dead, he gets kind of mad as he blitzes the demon and kills it. The demon would turn to ash and Tanjiro would pray before he completely disappearing, though Tanjiro will pass out. Before he actually passed out, he would have thrown the demon's head inside of the King of Hell's mouth, but Tanjiro wouldn't remember this. Is the reason he passed out is because he used KCM1 and Sage mode for 5 days straight without resting. Anyway, he would wake up to a girl caressing his hair as she would smile at him. He would realize that it's Makomo. As a tired Sabito walks up to Tanjiro and says, Hey, I see you beat the demon that killed us. Tanjiro is shocked because he thought they were dead. Now, he would have accidentally revived them. They tell him that as they show him a mark, and this is basically a mark like they are now servants of Tanjiro. Tanjiro is confused by this and asks them what's going on, but they say that they don't even know. They eat and Sabito and Makomo take a rest. While Tanjiro protects them, they wake up about 2 hours later to be fully rejuvenated. The trio would continue onward and eventually reach the end, making it to the finish line now. They would make it there without a scratch, but the administrators would come up to Sabito and Makomo and ask what they are doing here. Tanjiro explains everything that happened and the administrators let Sabito and Makomo pass. The rest still goes the same just like in the show, with Tanjiro telling the guy to take his hand off the white-haired girl, but unlike in canon, he just taps the guy's arm as he falls to the ground, crying in pain over his arm. This makes the others look on in awe and catches the attention of a certain girl. They would choose their oars and return home. Upon returning home, Gyo would actually be there, and upon seeing Tanjiro, Nezuko would hug him, with Urokodaki following up on the hug, even crying, saying, I'm so happy you returned back alive. Gyo congratulates Tanjiro, but this is when Tanjiro says, Oh yeah, come on you guys, why are you waiting? As Sabito and Makomo would come over the small mountain path, as Gyo would start crying together with Urokodaki. As I ask how, but Sabito just points out at Tanjiro and also to the mark, yes, saying that he was somehow able to revive them. This makes Gyo question Tanjiro's strength, and makes Urokodaki so happy that he declares that they will have a feast. While talking, Gyo asks what Tanjiro did, as Tanjiro explains his ability to everyone. They get puzzled and Urokodaki says it's just a chance that Sabito Makomo got revived. Tanjiro says yes to this. Anyway, Gyo and Sabito talk, and this is when Tanjiro gets to hear that Gyo is a Hashira or a pillar, and that it's an important role. Anyway, like 10 days ago, days go by and Gyo has left, but the swordsmith would arrive with their swords now. Sabito would have a nice deep blue sword. Makomo would have a serum sword, but when Tanjiro would hold his blade, it would mainly be black, but would have markings or it depicting a red and blue dragon. This interests the swordsmith and the others. Anyway guys, that's where I'm gonna leave the video. If you want the next part, I would recommend joining the Discord server, link in the description, and there you can actually vote on. But with all that out of the way, like and subscribe, and I see you in the next video. You lovely cups. Bye bye!